Hello, I am the real-life fake wizard. Kathleen Kennedy's contract is expiring. She's reportedly retiring from Lucasfilm. Dave Filoni will take over creative, Lynwen Brennan gets business operations, and I have to be honest with you, I do not care. I genuinely do not care who runs Lucasfilm anymore. And I don't think you do either. Like, not really. If 5 years ago, this would have been massive news. The fanbase would have erupted. Celebration, vindication. Finally, Star Wars is saved. But look around. The response now is muted. The discourse is tired. People are sharing the news, but there's no energy behind it. There's no hope, just acknowledgement. And that tells you everything you need to know about the state of Star Wars. Star Wars is dead. Leave it that way. Today's indie game shoutout is The Great Rebellion, a cyberpunk-inspired run-and-gun roguelite where the world is controlled by technocratic elites who seek digital immortality. Fight through randomly generated levels in 16-bit style retro pixel art and listen to an awesome dynamic soundtrack while you blast away robots using one of 60-plus weapons. To learn more about this game and hundreds of other indie games, visit our new indie game discovery platform, fakeportal.com, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now back to the video. Let's look at some statistics first. From The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker, there's a 48% decline from peak to finale in 4 years. And there hasn't been a theatrical Star Wars since 2019. 6 years of nothing. Multiple projects announced, stalled, or canceled. Rian Johnson's trilogy, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, the Benioff and Weiss films, all gone. The James Mangold film, the Rey Skywalker film, both trapped in development hell. Then we get to streaming. The Mandalorian Season 1 launched Disney+. 25 to 30 million views per episode. Over 1 billion minutes viewed. A cultural phenomenon. Baby Yoda was everywhere. And then the decline started. Obi-Wan Kenobi in 2022. By episode 3, it dropped 37%. Ahsoka in 2023 fell 31% from premiere to finale. And I also think Ahsoka, like, we don't hate on Ahsoka enough. That show is so aggressively terrible. I did a video on it here. The Acolyte premiered at 2.94 million and declined 22% week over week before cancellation. And finally, Skeleton Crew, which failed to crack Nielsen charts, 80% below Mandalorian peaks, the lowest performing Star Wars series yet. How about the merchandise? Star Wars used to generate $3 to $5 billion annually in merchandise. In 2025, Stitch, the little blue alien from Lilo and Stitch, outsold the entire Star Wars franchise at $4.42 billion. Here's what I find fascinating about this Kennedy news. This isn't a firing. This isn't a dramatic exit. Her contract is expiring. She's choosing to retire. She's been doing succession planning with Bob Iger for over a year. This is an orderly transition, not a sacking, not a firing, and somehow that makes it worse, right? Because if she were being fired, it would mean Disney recognized the problem and was taking action. It would mean accountability. It would mean someone at the top looked at the declining numbers and said, this ain't working. Instead, she's leaving on her own terms after 13 years. The message from Disney is that everything is fine. The trajectory is acceptable. The decline is within parameters. They're not panicking, and they should be panicking. They've never panicked. That's really kind of the bigger problem. But you know what? The fan base isn't panicking either. They're not celebrating, they're not mourning, they're just shrugging. No one cares anymore. People are noting it and they're moving on. Because the emotional investment is gone. They've squandered it. The hope that Star Wars could be fixed has evaporated. No one believes new leadership will change anything because nobody cares enough to believe anymore. The apathy is the story, and apathy is damning. The real problem with Star Wars is that it doesn't have anything new to say. Everything since Disney has taken over has been additive. None of it is essential, and none of it is necessary. The Mandalorian worked because it felt different. A Western in space, smaller stakes, new characters, and then it got absorbed into the larger mythology. Suddenly, Luke Skywalker shows up, and you think it's all gonna tie into the movies and shows you've dreamed of from the extended universe. But no, Luke shows up one more time to be a flawed idiot master. How about Andor? It's a critical darling and most people loved it. I personally think it's a 60-40 split. with 60% of it being a boring slogfest to get through, and 40% being the best Star Wars that Disney Lucas has been able to muster. And almost nobody watched it compared to the earlier shows. Because even when Star Wars is excellent, or even when Disney Star Wars is excellent, the audience has stopped caring. This franchise is exhausted. The well is dry. There are no more stories worth telling in this universe that haven't already been told better in other mediums. Here's something fascinating happening right now. AI-generated Star Wars fan films are exploding online. People are using tools like Sora, Runway, and Kling to create the Star Wars content they always wanted. Most recently, we got this Beggar's Canyon AI fan film that shows Luke Skywalker discovering his iconic green kyber crystal. And it's not perfect, but oh my gosh, we've come so far in AI tech in just a few years. Imagine what this is going to be capable of in a few more years. These videos get tons of views. The comments are filled with people saying things like, "This is better than anything Disney's made. Why couldn't the sequels be like this? This is the Star Wars I always wanted." Think about what that means. Fans with consumer-grade AI tools working in their bedrooms are producing content that resonates more with the audience than a billion-dollar corporation with unlimited resources. It's not because this AI is inherently better, it's not. It's because the fans understand what Star Wars meant to them. They're not trying to subvert expectations or chase new demographics or insert messaging. They're just making the thing they wanted to see. Disney had every opportunity to deliver this. They chose not to. And now technology has democratized the ability to create, and the market is speaking. The fans don't need Disney Star Wars anymore. They could just make their own. I want to be upfront about something I find very personal, and I'm hoping that after I say this, you might find yourself believing similarly. As I've gotten older, watching what Disney has done to Star Wars, watching what Hollywood has done to franchise after franchise, I feel something that I didn't expect. Certainly something I never would have anticipated when I walked into theaters in December of 2015 to see The Force Awakens. Today, I just want to see it all burn. Not out of cruelty, not because I hate Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Star Wars was a part of my childhood, and it's part of who I am. But after years of watching corporate stewards mismanage beloved properties, after years of defending the potential only to be disappointed again and again, after years of hoping maybe this time they'll get it right, I don't want them to fix it anymore. I want them to fail. I want Disney's Star Wars to collapse so completely that it becomes a case study in business schools. I want the message sent that you cannot strip mine a franchise for content, ignore what made it special, and expect audiences to keep showing up. They deserve to lose. They deserve ridicule. They had the most valuable IP in entertainment history. They had unlimited resources. They had a fan base desperate to love new content. And they squandered all of it through arrogance, mismanagement, and creative cowardice. There is no path forward for Star Wars under Disney. Not with Kennedy, not with Filoni, not with anyone. The trust is gone. The goodwill is spent. The audience, myself included, has moved on. The only path forward is replacement. New creatives, new stories, new franchises built by people who have something to say, not people hired to manage someone else's legacy. This is a similar message I had to the people with the Conformity Gate and Stranger Things Episode 9 fiasco. Let it go. Stop hoping Star Wars will be good again. Stop celebrating leadership changes like they'll fix systemic problems. Stop investing emotional energy into corporations that see you only as revenue streams. Let it go and let it burn. Let something new grow in its place. I want to hear from young creatives forging new fantasy worlds. I want to see the next Star Wars, right? Not another Star Wars story, but the next cultural phenomenon that captures imaginations and defines a generation. It's something we haven't seen yet, not for a long, long time. I want to see something created by someone who isn't famous yet, telling a story that maybe has never been told before. That's what deserves our attention. That's what deserves our support. It's time for you, it's time for us, it's time, if it's you watching this perhaps, or maybe you need to send this video to someone to hear this message, but it's time for us to start building our own things. The tools exist, the distribution exists, the audience is hungry for something new, even if they don't know it just yet. The future of storytelling isn't in legacy IPs. I believe it's in whatever you're going to make next. Kathleen Kennedy's contract is expiring, Dave Filoni's taking over, and I do not care. And neither do you, really. No one cares, because we've been through this cycle too many times. New leadership, new hope, same decline. The names change, but the trajectory doesn't. Star Wars is dead. Not because one person killed it, but because corporations cannot steward creative properties indefinitely. Eventually, the well runs dry. Eventually, the audience moves on. Eventually, the thing you love becomes a zombie, walking, talking, producing content, but with nothing alive behind the eyes. And that's where we are. That's what Star Wars has become. It's a zombie. So thank it for what it was, acknowledge what it meant to you, and let it go. The next great story is waiting to be told, and it won't be Star Wars. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire others to do so as well, and for the love of God, cancel Disney+.